Welcome back everybody to the LCK Analyst Desk. Today we'll be joined by Subin Yoon and the analysts are Victory and Lyra.
네, 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다.
And today it was someone taking on Hanwha Life Esports. Still, Hanwha Life didn't manage to get their first win in this series. The sport pick was really impressive. As the stat tells us, DAMWON Gaming, they focus on the top side of the map, and Hanwha Life, they play around the bottom lane. However, today, they put Dudu as the starting top laner and seem to focus on the top side more than they used to before. So Hanwha Life, they tend to have priority in all three lanes, especially Shen support. That was a last pick in the LPL in Esports. So it was a pick into Leona, and also it was a really good champion that can pull off a lot of roaming pick. So I guess Hanwha Life had the similar plan for this comp overall, but DAMWON Gaming, they had a lot more aggressiveness, and also they were showing more prowess all throughout the game. Maybe because the support pick was one of the match points here, they tried to make a lot of plays on the bottom lane in the very early phase of the game. So we had a little bit of a fight versus Lee Hansen Burrow over here. So Lee joins these fights and looks for a pick onto Pantheon. However, Burrow was already stacking up the Conqueror stacks over there, and watch goes trying to take the kill for Pantheon as well. So as a result, DAMWON Gaming players, they successfully pulled the Hanwha Life players into their territory. So because DAMWON Gaming players were earning so much time for Showmaker to complete his roam down to the bottom lane, Zoe even picked up some kills in this fight. Shen is a pick that needs to get a lot of points in the first attempt because there is no way to retreat from that initiation. However, Hanwha Life, they couldn't really pull off a clean performance with that engage. Once again, this fight was also started off by Hanwha Life Esports. Hanwha Life, they were setting up a collapse on Ezreal when Virtle was trying to get rid of the ward on the top side Tribrush. However, we had an unexpected accident happening in the mid lane. So, Karma, he was put to sleep, and Cat, Lee Sin, was obviously aware of it. However, he rotates to the top side, even knowing that Karma was put to sleep. So Hanwha Life, they had to be a little bit more decisive because they were in such a favoring situation, but it seems like they were not on the same page. Maybe some of the players were calling for a top dive, and maybe some players were asking for a support in the mid lane skirmish. Maybe we can say that that was a super play or an outplay coming out from Showmaker, but at the same time, this can be a proof that they are not jointed as a team in this game. For Lee Sin and Renekton, in that moment of game, it's really important to make one clear decision in their moves. You have to just decide whether you're going to focus on the top side or whether you're going to focus on the bottom lane. So still, Hanwha Life is on their process to find out their team's color. Let's check out who the player of the game on the side of DAMWON Gaming. Once again, it's Showmaker on Zoe. Surprisingly, only 300 points. We expected a little bit more from him. But Showmaker, he's been really popping off on both solo queue and in LCK. I think he's having his peak for performance currently, but especially not just about his mechanics and laning phase. I think he kind of stepped up as a whole about the whole game macro, and I acknowledge
리신에게 오히려 구위가 끊기면서 상황이 달라질 수 있기 때문에
Maybe if Cat was going for support for Lava in that solo kill, this game could be a turnaround point for Hanwha Life Esports, but Lee Sin was pretty undecisive in that move, so Showmaker didn't stop to snowball down the rift. Showmaker picking up a lot of votes over here, 10 out of 12.
필승 구도를 만들어내는 담원의
Burrow also had a really nice performance on his main pick, Pantheon, as well. In the early phase, Hanwha Life, they were really good into Pantheon setups. However, Hanwha Life, they didn't know how to snowball all the profits they got from the early phase of the game. Then let's check out whether Hanwha Life can tidy up their issues or whether DAMWON Gaming will close out the series.
Thank you so much, Jason, as usual, for your analyst desk translation. And very proud of you, Valdanalist, voting for the correct choice. Yeah! I think that everyone had their ups and downs in that particular series, but DAMWON just looked way better than Hanwha Life in this one. And that came straight out of the draft as well. I mean, their draft was just much better. Hanwha just didn't really look like they had too much of a cohesive plan. There were some comments on Lehen's build. I saw his lucidity boots rush and then proceeded to never look at his items ever again.
Yeah, there's no reason to... I mean, he was trying something new. It's Lehen's, I suppose, but either way, they're on blue side now. Let's see what they can do. They're going to get first pick here, and they have a little bit more room to ban away some scary picks that DAMWON has shown in the past, but it's always very difficult. They're showing a lot of priority taking away Syndra from both Showmaker and Ghost. So they're going to take that off the table to start with.
Yep, Yuumi, always the ban against Lehen's, but DAMWON do need to consider the Varus this time around. Hanwha were not the team that decided to play lethal tempo Varus, and therefore might still need to be respected, as there's the Senna ban. Theoretically, 2 bans aimed against Ghost at the moment, as finally Varus is going to be put away. I think that's smart. You don't want to give the most powerful player on Hanwha Life an arguably busted champion. We have seen the lethality version lose so far here in the LCK, but still, not a risk worth taking. Senna and Zoe going to be banned here away from Hanwha Life. So it looks like Hanwha are gunning for an Ezreal first pick, and we'll see what DAMWON decides they want to remove from the pool. I think banning Karma makes some sense here because she is still strong, but it doesn't really work in DAMWON's hands because they like to play so aggressively. And I think putting Showmaker or Noguri or anyone on a Karma pick is just a little bit of a worry. But they are going to leave it up. The Trundle is going to be banned away instead, and of course the Ezreal is going to be picked up here first.
Yeah, it does mean that, you know, Hanwha Life is reading this well as well. I don't think that... But it's difficult, you know, because if you give the Karma away, then maybe, you know, Hanwha Life will pick that up alongside of the Ezreal. Could mean some pain for you in this game. But they're just going to go ahead and pick up TF's set and say, we're going to be looking to make plays today, which is interesting because Ezreal into both of those champions can be good. So, not exactly picking for countering what Hanwha Life are doing, but maybe just to build their own kind of identity as a team comp.
Yep, definitely some power picks though, as far as the meta is concerned, as that is the Bard locked in for Lehen's, and Lava's going to take away the Galio. So it looks like Hanwha Life do have a plan. And looks like just making sure that they can shore up the mid lane as best they can as DAMWON. Ooh, Ghost with the Aphelios. This is interesting. It is going to be taken away, and now DAMWON are able to ban some options into it and potentially pick away another choice as well. So I don't mind it here as far as picking it in red side third pick.
Yeah, like you said, the bans are going to help out a lot. They already have a good idea of what Hanwha Life is going for. It's not very good into Bard Ezreal, but it is very good into the Galio, so we'll have to see how that does go. They're going to take away some more aggressive, you know, in-your-face kind of divey champions with the Volibear taken off the Rift here. Showmaker was smiling a lot. I would assume that TF is definitely going mid, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yep. I had an old friend of mine who used to play a lot of TF jungle
And you're no longer friends anymore.
He was actually my first co-commentator.
Oh.
His name was Dale Never Fails originally. Changed his name to Hot Soggy Noodles. My name used to be Slappy Baggins. We were Slappy Baggins and Hot Soggy Noodles.
It's very Australian of you.
It was definitely good. Together we were Slappy Noodles or Hot Soggy Baggins. But I Slappy Noodles.
Yeah, the first
sounds
one.
a bit better.
First one's definitely better.
Yeah.
Definitely safer for the broadcast as well.
I think there are VODs of that, by the way, on the internet somewhere. So you can see what it was like commentating 7 years ago. As, okay, Shen being hovered, but probably not going to be locked in as Beryl's going to take away his Thresh. That does put Set in either a solo lane or the jungle. As we're assuming that Nogri is going to get the last pick or take away the Set and just choose something there for Canyon. As now Dudu can pick up the Ornn if he wants to. They've banned away the Trundle, so they don't need to worry about that this game. So super tanks are an option. Not a lot of damage. Or we could just pick up Lee Sin. I can see why LS didn't want to go anywhere near the script.
Well, at least they picked Ornn at
pages.
the end. Ornn is kind of interesting. I think that if you're going into the Set top, you'll probably be okay. But as you were mentioning, the Set can still be flexed. And it looks like Nuggery is going to try to take an aggressive line against what Hanwha Life have selected in the top lane. And we'll look to isolate certain members of the enemy team to lock them down. And it's definitely a Nuggery-style champion. I would assume, yeah, that's going to be traded up to the top side. Cad did have an excellent game on the Lee Sin.
Yeah, he did. I think his Lee Sin mechanics were definitely good. It did feel a bit solo queue-esque on the side of Hanwha, though, and sometimes when you get that Lee Sin that's good on your team, and he sometimes does a bit more harm than good, as the team doesn't quite have the coordination, and Hanwha did not look coordinated. Now they do have an extraordinary amount of CC in these team fights. Their damage is looking on the low ebb with Galio and Ornn in the solo lanes, but they have a lot of tankiness, and Viper, we know, can eke out a lot of damage on this Ezreal. So see how they're going to be able to do there, and this is a DAMWON that's going to be playing around Ghost this game, right? This is an Aphelios that does need to perform. It's not like he can be self-sufficient on something like an Ezreal and the rest of the team can just dive. Could be a different game coming out of DAMWON this time around. Let's see how they do. The laning phase was great, to be honest, out of Beryl and Ghost in game number 1. And if Ghost can keep up that form, then it's only going to get better as we move into game number 2. So DAMWON definitely changing gears. With this one, more of a 4-1 style of composition. As Canyon and Noggery together will be able to get a lot of work done with this duo.
Yeah, that duo and the mid-top duo for split pushing is going to be really difficult. So even if things don't, go so great in the early game for DAMWON, they still have a lot of options to play smoke and mirrors as the game does come along here, as they scale with the Camille. So I don't mind it. It's not a bad lineup there for the side of DAMWON.
Yeah.
And the Ornn pick was very interesting. It almost felt like they wanted to get something safe for Dudu after game number 1. I mean, the Ornn here is going to be able to upgrade some items, but it doesn't feel like those very hard-hitting items, such as like a Molten Edge on like a scaling 80 carry, or
it'll be a 4th item, Might of the Ruined King.
Yeah.
That's about it.
It's like, Viper's your carry. You want to enable him, but there's not a lot of stuff you can upgrade for your Ezreal. I guess you're going to start eventually upgrading items for, Galio and Lee Sin, I suppose. But it doesn't seem as value as some other Ornn compositions.
No, I think you're right. I think as soon as you have a Molten Edge user on your team, Ornn becomes so much better. Just because of the amount of scaling that you do get out of that particular upgrade.
See it a lot with Aphelios. Turns out, maybe they wanted to deny it, although Nuggery's not much of an Ornn player, so I'm not sure exactly the idea there. As, yes, Nuggery has a high win rate on most champions that he plays.
Yeah, he's pretty good, as it turns out. But this is pretty high. I mean, DAMWON did lose quite a few games. Last year, last split. They were one of our better teams, but it doesn't mean that they were flawless by any means. So, still, you have to respect stats like that. There's Beryl and Ghost pushing pretty hard here as Ezreal this week, on this patch, 7-3 against the Aphelios.
Yeah, we're in week 3 here. It's Saturday, so there's only 2 days left of week 3. But I believe we got 10-12 in week 2. So we've had more 10-12 than not. And so far, it has been a big turnaround. We saw a lot of Aphelios versus Ezreal, and Aphelios doing really well alongside of a Nautilus, which actually did get banned this game.
Well, that's
the
a great
Aphelios was
trade
picked.
for Dudu.
Yeah, Dudu doing well, as he will in the early game. Beryl is getting in there, but not going to do too well.
Yep, not going to be able to find any hooks here as Lava's just happily taking away minions in the mid lane up against this Twisted Fate. Knew exactly what this matchup was. Lava is very comfortable on the Galio. And I think going for comfort after a really rough game like the last one is a good idea as Lava takes 2 cards to the head. Gambit really is flicking them around in that mid lane. As Dudu's just going to push up this wave towards the top side. And somehow DAMWON still have a slight gold advantage when I'm seeing a lot of shove as Dudu misses quite a few of that CS.
TF.
Yeah,
The TF
he
effect.
does tend to keep some aces in his back pocket.
Well,
doesn't he?
only 19 CS, but he's still, you know, warping the gold in this game.
Oh,
It's pretty intense. Ooh, I like that bait.
that was sneaky. Cad not actually going to show himself as Showmaker's going to move down. Lahen's moving up though, and there's the Q. Facebreaker to answer was stunning out of Canyon there as Lava looks for the punch, does get it. Onto the Twisted Fate as now Winds of War do a lot of damage. Hook comes out, lands perfectly onto Cad, and now DAMWON are looking to try and turn it. Another Facebreaker does come in as Canyon does get the Haymaker, gets himself out of there, and there's the stun onto Cad. First blood delivered to the Aphelios somehow as now Lahen's finds himself right in amongst 4 members, and another kill for DAMWON. Lava looking to go down. He does take Beryl with him. So that is 1 for 2. Make that, maybe 2 for 2 here as Viper gets out his sweeper, and we'll find out exactly where the set is.
Got to be careful. You can see they were getting a little bit cocky there at the end, just throwing up the emotes in the faces of the Hanwha Life members, but Ezreal was full health, full mana, and ready to jump over that wall up against Set, who was absolutely not. So kind of interesting as they give another kill over there to the side of Hanwha, especially in the hands of the Ezreal. It is not ideal as Dudu's unideally going to take 2 turret hits. But here's Lee Sin.
Yeah, this looks like a bait as Canyon's going to turn up. Q towards the back line as Nogri gets himself a big physical shield. Teleport from Hanwha as the Facebreaker's going to deny that taunt, and Canyon says, no, guys, this ain't happening. And the stun comes through from the hookshot as well. Great knock-up, though, as Lava's going to be able to take down that kill. And DAMWON maybe a little bit over-aggressive.
I don't know why they're going back in on that one. That's absolutely unnecessary, but I guess they were really feeling the 2v3 trying to show off a bit, and that is along the lines of what we saw over here. Great play by Beryl, just being the absolute savior of Canyon here and his team to get it started on their side. They take down Cad, they blow the heal, and now it's 4v3. And you're thinking, okay, there's no way DAMWON are going to lose this fight. And up until this moment, they're like, okay, they got away with one. That's fine. Canyon is sitting here. He's emoting. He's on top of a ward. He's going to give away his life to Viper. And then up here, they could have easily just walked away. It was a great play by Canyon to deny it. As we did see before, Nuguri did also flash just in case. And then he goes back in. They have a lot of damage at first. I don't know why.
I think he assumed that Lava was going to be in turret range or something like that, but he was just out of it, pretty obviously. We're going to start some Biffo yet again. Despite that disaster on the top side, nothing has really eventuated as far as a gold lead, but now we're going to have a ram thrown at Noguri. Dudu is tanking up the turret, takes 2 turret shots, and Noguri just waiting for his moment by the looks of things. Tactical sweep comes down, and Dudu does need to respect Noguri's hook shot for some CC, but I do like how aggressive Dudu's playing. That's a 3rd turret.
Taking so many turret shots in this lane. It's insane. There's like 6 in the last 2 minutes.
It's a 1v2, dude. Turret and Noguri versus
Turret's really angry.
Sometimes you want to play the handicapped version just to make sure that, you know, you're getting as much challenge as possible. Maybe not.
Very
true. Game in the LCK.
And typical Nuguri style, he goes for the cull. I mean, he is up against a tank, but it's kind of funny that he goes for that even after the last play.
Yep. Ghost will be able to take this land to get himself out, as Gravitum's going to stun some people up. As Cad and Lava just together, clearing out a control ward. And there's still plenty more where they came from, though, and you can see the bottom lane control that DAMWON has is actually very high. And I like that. I actually like seeing that DAMWON are now playing around a bottom side, given the fact that their composition dictates that the value of Ghost is much higher. I was worried that they were just going to play more Noggery and Showmaker style, which of course they will to a certain extent. But the fact that their vision is around making sure that Ghost has the best laning phases possible is really smart. As another Mountain Drake will be going down as the first one, and Hanwha are going to pick that one up for free. In the meantime, though, Shelly still has 30 seconds before she's going to be up. Canyon is towards the top side of the map, playing around there. So despite having a bit of a ring of control wards to try and protect the bottom lane, Dragon going over for free is not the best news for DAMWON. Not a huge deal, though.
Yeah, it's going to be okay. I mean, it's just the one Drake to start this one off, although it is pretty nice because they do have Ezreal, Galio, Ornn, who are all going to be building defensive items and getting some value out of that first Drake, even though it is just the one. So not so bad for them, as I think it is in DAMWON's best interest to kind of slow this game down a little bit. They have the better scaling with the crazy split push later on in the game, and Aphelios. Unless Viper can kind of 1v9, as we have seen some Ezreals do in the past. Yeah. I'm guessing that is the idea for him in this game, and every game that he plays for Hanwha Life.
Yep, it's and now with the Death Dance build, he is very potent in the later stages of the game. That Cosmic Binding went absolutely wide. This Barrel's going to take that control ward for free. Canyon, we're going to try and steal away this red buff, but Lehens is in position. I believe that was well known to DAMWON, though, as Ghost, with his Crescendum, looking to grab his first turret plate, and will do so very easily. And Canyon just looking to try and get a bit of a steal here, wants to find the Facebreaker. Is this, in fact, the showstopper that comes down. A lot of movement speed there from Canyon, who takes a lot of damage back. And who was it that picked up the red buff? It was Cad that got it in the end. I thought maybe it was the wild cards, as they went through it exactly the same time, but good smite there from Cad. Make sure he gets that kill. As now, Canyon continuing just to run around Cad's jungle. We'll take some popcorn chicken. There are so many wards here in the red side jungle of Hanwha Life.
Yeah, they're really trying to set this up for perhaps a play down on the bottom side. They even were able to bait.
Cosmic Binding was good. Hook is going to miss. Magical Journey going to be enough there, as Ghost took a lot of his health bar. Not a great trade there for DAMWON's bottom lane. But he does have Severin to get that health back.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's just going to sit back and life steal up. And, well, okay.
It's Tempered Fate. True Shot Barrage is going to be paired with it, as now Moonlight Vigil comes down. Ghost flashing to get himself out of the way. Heal down as well. Not able to get enough back there whatsoever, so a big trade in favor of Hanwha Life. As Dudu is probably going to die here on the top side, guys. Good gold card comes through. Does get a knock-up, blows the Ornn Horn, is looking to try and trade one, but not going to happen. Noggery is able to win what is the game between Camille and Ornn, which is when you press your R button, I press mine. Not able to actually work out for them. It's okay. Lehens very close to falling down there as Lava. Looked like he had a very weird interaction, but he's just going to come down here, gets the Justice Punch, takes down Ghost. Meanwhile, underneath this turret, though, Barrel's going to go golden. We'll see whether Barrel can answer back with any kills. He's not going to, as Viper picks up the turret aggro, and that's a very successful dive onto the bottom lane of DAMWON.
It's a great idea, too, by Hanwha Life. I mean, you see the TF heading up towards the top side. You know that Canyon is not going to be anywhere near. And you just go ahead and rotate down there. I think that Ghost and Barrel had to just get the hell out of there. They both blew their summoners after the original play with the Tempered Fate that we saw in the lane. And then they stayed because there was a relatively big wave, but it just eventually led to them losing the wave and their lives. As now Hanwha Life are going to challenge this Rift Herald.
Yep, Dudu going to get the knock up there onto Canyon as well, as Cad gets a showstopper to try and get some distance between them. I believe the Rift Herald was taken by DAMWON, so Hanwha not going to be able to pick that one up. They're going over there. They're wondering why they can't grab it, but it looks like they're just going to be able to stand vigil and deny this one from ever going down, as that was a good guess from Viper as to which brush Canyon was going home in. As Noggery's just not quite able to get in there.
Feels bad, man.
So Shelly's just going to stay in the void this time around. She gets a day off, called in sick, I think.
Wow, okay. Hanwha Life, they have come out here with some life in game 2.
Yeah, it's looking much better. It's also looking like DAMWON are playing with a lot more reckless abandon. They were playing with a lot of it in game number 1, but it is upped. The levels of just trying to go for aggression, regardless of what's going on. So maybe just need to tidy up the play. As Dudu, it's the second charge of that E, and it does a lot of damage on this Camille. That's why she wins this matchup in the end. True damage pretty good against tanks, as it turns out.
Mm-hmm. Dudu's going to have a rough time. Not this exact matchup. The one that LS used to talk about a lot was Horn versus Kale, where she's just going to split push and you go Warmog's third, I believe it is? Third or fourth to eventually just sit under turret after clearing the wave.
We actually saw that happen.
Something like that later on as well. It's just a good outplay by Camille. A good setup, but it did lead to this. I think Beryl and Ghost need to get out. But they got baited by themselves, almost killing Lahens, and you have to expect with Lava coming down that you already saw, that Cat is going to be nearby. Even without Cat, they didn't need the Lee Sin. They were going to get both of them anyway. So.
Yeah, and the Flash Taunt threat is just so hard to deal with because you can open up with so much CC. As we've got an Infernal Soul this game. Glad to be taken 2 Drakes until Hanwha can get to that magical 4th number. Dudu. It's a lot of damage here as the Rift Light's on fire. See whether that lights a fire under DAMWON. Gets him to play a little bit more carefully. Winds of War straight up is Showmaker. As he's certainly doing fine in this lane, ahead by approximately 30 CS. The bottom lane, that's a bit of an issue here. And also Canyon. I mean, the reason why DAMWON still have a lead as far as gold, despite the kill score being 6 and 3, is because Canyon's super far ahead and Showmaker is warping the gold by a large number.
Yeah. Take a look at that. He's 30 CS ahead, plus he has his passive.
Yep, stack deck. Okay, there's Moonlight Vigil. And Viper is just going to see his death for a little while as he gets into the alcove. Ghost is going to grab that kill for an extra 500. As Lava gets down here towards the bottom side to mourn the passing of the Ezreal. And will walk back towards his base. DAMWON, no plates to be gathered. They're 20 seconds too late for that. They might be able to get onto this turret. His Destiny has been popped. We'll give DAMWON all the information that they need. As Dudu's going to be smacking down on this turret. Looks like Showmaker, it's going to be his job to deny this. Interesting timing to go for a play because the Drake was just taken. Shirley's not up yet, and it's not like they're going to be fighting over too much. So, yeah, we'll see.
So, just gonna all calm down after the Galio went bot and was able to kind of stop the pressure. As he was on a ward here, Viper didn't know it, I suppose, and Lahens did his best to try to save him. And that's really all it amounted to, as Lava was able to get down here with the teleport. It was after Nuggeries, but it didn't matter all that much as it was just a trade of teleports.
Okay.
Canyon got it.
Yeah, just going to get it. No worries. Gives him the thumbs up. Lahens with the base Bard skin. Not a big fan. No hot cocoa.
Yeah, what?
No, it's not even Elderwood. I think Elderwood has really cute meeps.
I like the aliens.
The alien one is amazing, though.
Little aliens, yeah.
The new Astro Bard is really awesome. Also helps me know that it's Bard because I've been playing a lot of TFT recently. Yeah. And Bard in that game is using his Astro skin, as you guys may well have known.
Take a look at the jungle matchup here. Canyon is a full level ahead of CAD and was even more than that ahead before I suppose the Wolves were taken, but he has put on a nice little clinic even after dying in the early fight and then dying once again. He is still ahead of the Lee Sin, who is supposed to be an early game monster.
Yeah, and also Set is just, he's one of these champions that does rely a lot on getting a lot of money, as we're going to see what he's capable of as he moves down towards the bottom side, and walking around in circles is one thing that he excels at, as you can see. Ghost has the good weapons, and max range for that. Hook on Beryl's side, set up by Showmaker, and this is the time where this comp from DAMWON is very, very strong. Getting picks in an open map is absolutely in their wheelhouse.
Yeah. They're going to be all over the map, and they go mid, and they come bot once again as, well,
Canyon Lane's going to be absolutely fine. Gets himself a big shield. Justice punch in. Taunt comes out. Good trade from Lava in the mid lane. Showmaker's got his Rod of Ages stacking though, so he's not in too much trouble.
He's totally fine. He's got the most CS on the map by far at this point in the game. And all the lanes are doing really well now, including the jungle, actually, now that Canyon did get ahead and set up a couple of plays. And even though the early game just looked so great for Hanwha Life, in the span of about 3 minutes, DAMWON have come back in a big way. As you can see, Cat here, you gotta be careful. I mean, you don't really have too much control over the bottom side. Tri-brush, you don't know what's going on in the river. And you're totally on vision, so TF can just throw out a card. Even if you hop away, you're probably dead meat. And that he was.
Yep, indeed. And we've moved towards a 3,000 gold lead somehow. And it feels a little bit like the better team tax that Hanwha are paying here, as another beautiful hook lands. This time onto Lava somehow. Oh, the flash forward from Feral as well. God, he's so good. Give this man another player of the game. Write it down. Write it down.
I want to write it down right now.
As Nogger is looking for a kill onto Dudu here as the Destiny comes in. But he's now looking for a different kill on Showmaker's side. Another hook from Beryl. Write it damn down right now.
Sorry.
Lens is running away. He's going to make Showmaker golden. But you know the golden boy is Beryl, the man that offered him that lantern. The first Drake for DAMWON is going to be the Infernal. And that might be the start of many.
I don't know what happened this game, but it almost did just feel like eventually DAMWON were going to take back control. As well, nobody got that cannon.
Yeah, that was very sad.
Things are just falling apart on the side of Hanwha. The top lane, Dudu never had a chance in this matchup, it feels. Eventually, Nuggery got one item, and now he's just stomping him 1v1 behind his turret, because why not? He might get isolated killed, though.
He might also kill Viper, though. Thankfully, there are more blast cones, thanks to the Infernal Rift. As, yeah, like you say, he does have flash, but he needs to find a wall to flash over. He's not going to be able to. So 1 versus 3, a little bit of a big test there. As the outer turret is going to be traded. Showmaker now looking to try and get some damage back onto Lava, but he doesn't take too much of it. Gives him the big Teemo thumbs up. Love it. Big fan of Teemo. Showmaker.
Yeah. Had his TP denied there. I wonder if Showmaker could have been able to turn that 2v3. Not very confident, so yeah, Lava may have actually helped him.
Yeah, saved his life
in that case.
Oh, actually, that was amazing out of Noggery. This was Dudu trying to get over that wall. Although I think if he did get over that wall, he was still dead. He was going the wrong direction. Yeah, still. The Ram is just going to waltz past happily. Let's just watch the Beryl montage, shall we?
Beryl's just smurfing. Like, I mean, this guy, he's pretty unbelievable. And you're like, maybe we can ban Pantheon. Maybe we can ban Maokai or Bard. Maybe we'll play Bard. Oh, he still plays Thresh? Like this? Oh, well,
I mean, that last hook wasn't as impressive. A stationary target, you should probably be out of hit. But still, the flash in front of the Justice Punch, always good to see. And lining up the right hooks to start the plays, it's exactly what you want out of a support like Beryl.
Yeah, and in the span of now 3 more minutes, the game has seemingly fallen even further out of Hanwha Life's hands, even after that minuscule early lead.
How did it just balloon to 6,000 gold?
I want to see the gold difference for the laners again. I want to see the difference in the mid lane. I wonder if it's like 2,000 or something right now. Because it might be.
50 CS lead, 104.
He's also level 14, so I don't know where that came from, but all those extra stats, the resistances, the extra AP and AD that you get every level, he is going to get even more value there, as he actually doesn't have the most gold in the game. It's actually Ghost down on the bottom side with 4 kills.
Yep, he's pretty big, although they are only 200 gold apart. I do like the fact that Trinity Force was picked up by Viper, gives him an ornament much earlier. Trinity Fusion can come through instead of having to wait until 4th item.
That's true.
It does take away the Iceborne Gauntlet, which is so valuable against Ghost with all of his physical damage. But
and Sed and Camille. If,
yeah,
you know,
right, yeah.
It would have been good, but, you know, as we were remarking on in the early game, gotta give Orange something. As Cat has been given nothing except the early plays, I suppose, in this game.
Canyon running around just trying to find anyone to punch. Which seems like Set's MO, certainly on theme. As that Cosmic Binding goes wide, Q is going to be there, breaks his face and runs away. And Hanwha, looks like they're milling about again. And the 1-3-1 is certainly upon us here for DAMWON. It's what we know this composition is so very, very good at. And what happens when you see a teamfight comp being built? You build 1-3-1 and then force the teamfight comp into disarray and take things from them around the map. And that's exactly what DAMWON have decided to do this game. And they did it in very haphazard fashion. In the early stage,
Yeah.
doesn't really seem to matter at this point.
Hanwha thought maybe they were rushing a Baron. DAMWON do not have to take any kind of risk like that. They are never forced or pressured or have to feel like they have to rush or sneak anything. They are in such control of this game that, you know, they don't need to. But again, it is DAMWON, and they are playing a little bit overconfidently in this game, so I don't mind it, actually, in this case.
They're probably going to do something like that, right? It's just,
they might just
for
run
better
it.
or worse.
But safer play is to just slowly and surely take down Infernal Drake by Infernal Drake. And you've got so many members in your lineup that can use it. The top 4 will all be happy with it. Set a little bit less so, but, you know, Camille will use it so much alongside Aphelios. So still going to be extremely good for your team. As Home Life is trying to group up here and deny that set up for the Drake.
Yeah, and so as the Drake is spawning in 10 seconds, we've got 1-3-1 in operation. Teleports available for Noguri and Destiny for Showmaker, who goes back into Fog of War, and Hanwha Life do need to be scared. Barrel chunked down a long way, though. Oh, Canyon's walking pretty fast. Good Cosmic Binding there, but he'll be able to take this Lantern. Does so. Regular Ward, not as good at stopping those, as Destiny does come in. And now DAMWON looking for a team fight. Teleport to come through from the backside. As you can see, Showmaker doing some work. The Infernal will go over to Hanwha, but a 3-man Facebreaker, and DAMWON are just going to steamroll Hanwha Life. The Veil Flash is just icing on the cake as Noguri is looking for the ace against Lehens. He zones for a little bit with the Tempered Fate, but I have a feeling there will be another hook shot, and that magical journey is one to the Death Chamber, as it's the Hanwha Life flare from Showmaker.
Yeah, he brings it out every single time he plays against a new team. This time it's against Hanwha. They're going to be able to run at the Baron now, even though the Infernal did go the way of Hanwha Life, and you can't blame them. They were in a position here to try to burst it down, but the second you see Destiny, you see the TP coming in, you're like, oh boy. And the kick was really nice, by the way. Cat is trying his hardest to carry this one, but 3-man Facebreaker also pretty decent. And the fight just gets in total disarray with DAMWON so far ahead. They're able to take everybody down, and it is a clean ace. As Nuguri, he's definitely got that mouse pointer very close to his champion.
Yep.
He's ready there to dodge every single time.
And now with the Baron, DAMWON are looking to just put a pin in this game. We're close to a 12,000 gold lead at 25 minutes. A little bit of a longer one than game number 1.
Yeah, it's a long game, feels like, yeah.
25 minutes. Caught him sleeping.
Come on, DAMWON, you gotta, you know, what's going on? Hurry it up.
I mean, Showmaker talks all the time about, you know, wanting to go home after his games.
Yeah.
And they're very good at these 2-0s, so
I want to go stream and...
Yeah. Hilariously, you know, the team that we used to call Don't Want to Go, now it's not DWG anymore, it's WGH. They want to go home.
Real fast.
Okay, want to go to the Death Chamber, might be what Canyon's looking for. It does just throw an ultimate into the backline because he had nowhere else to go. So that was an int, I think is what we call that. 1-3-1 still upon us, though.
When you're doing the 1-3-1, as you mentioned, you got to be careful about getting caught in mid lane up against a team fight comp 5v3. That's generally not the idea. You want to slowly chip away at the outer turrets with your Baron buff. And the set, I mean, you know, he's melee. It's not like he's going to be hitting on any turrets or anything like that anyway, but does take a little bit of power away from DAMWON.
Whoa, Ghost going to get kicked back. That should be the pick, as he does go golden with his stopwatch. Flash not available, though, as Viper may just die. And he does. Showmaker gets in there, and the Destiny is going to mean that Cat can't escape unless he uses that flash. As we just saw, Showmaker with his blue card would have been enough to kill Cat, so you can't call that one. Reginald. Okay, guys, Dudu's going to get solo killed underneath this turret. That's a double somehow. Who else died?
Are they trying to
Lehens died just before that, and then he killed Dudu as well. As I think this might just be the end of the game, Valdez. You're right.
I think they're going to try to end it here. They've got a lot of minions in Baron buff for 45 seconds. They're not wasting any time. TP's coming in now.
Yep, Noguri making up for all of those turret shots that he didn't take, and Dudu did. First Nexus turret to go down. Cad going for that last-ditch effort as Noguri, the last second, goes into his stopwatch, but does eventually go down. But everyone's getting their faces broken. This Tempered Fate is not going to change Hanwha Life's fate one iota.
Viper's up.
And, okay, yeah, Showmaker's going to get taken down here, so maybe bit off a little bit more than they could chew, as Barrel's going to hand a Lantern over to Canyon, who will sidestep that True Shot barrage. And there's a teleport. Now DAMWON's trying to run them out of here. Yornhorn comes in, Canyon's going to be the target, not going to be hit though, as Beryl, the sacrificial Thresh, will give away his life. So we called it over a little bit early. It may still be, but Hanwha at least will extend that clock.
Yeah, they were desperately trying to end in typical DWG Gaming fashion. Ghost did a really nice job. You see, he knows he's pretty, he's gonna die. He puts down a turret, lets that do the damage, and he gets in a position for his teammates to try to follow up, and it actually does allow them to, as we're gonna also take a look at this. Let's see if Noguri says anything.
나 위에 나 밟는 중. 리신데?
Seems so effortless. His
Yeah, right.
shots. It's like right on point. He doesn't even have to think about it. And yeah, in this moment, you can see that maybe they could just hit the Nexus, but instead they're focusing on upping their KDA. And so they're going to get a bunch of kills, or at least try to. Looks like they get one. And we see a lot of teams do this, just being facetious in terms of the KDA thing. And they...
Shot barrage.
Not this time.
Jonas strong shoulders. We didn't have the vision, couldn't see the health bar. As, okay, Hanwha Life pull it back by 1,000 gold. It is now only a minuscule 11,000 in the lead for DWG Gaming.
It's like 11.4 thousand, so it's not even a full 1,000.
Was that just a graphic of Noguri compared to himself?
Yeah, I didn't even see it because they took it down so fast.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, whoa, don't look at this. There we go.
There we go. All right.
So we're looking at current stats in the game. This is actually pretty cool. It highlights what we were talking about with Ghost and how he is not usually the carry of his team, even on a pick like Aphelios.
Although, I mean, it's still, it was sub 30 minutes. Now Aphelios does a hell of a lot of AoE, as now Noguri has 3 members around him. Gonna flash out of the way of the Ornhorn as we're just barreling in to this Nexus. Heroic entrance is going to get a fair bit of value, but now it is time for the amount of years that DAMWON have on their side. The Nexus should be going down. Viper not going to be too safe on his fountain, as you can see. Stunned, that's a triple kill for Ghost, and that is the 2-0 once again for DAMWON. This is the only way they win, and it continues here today up against Hanwha.
Yep, able to smack him down. There was a little bit of a hiccup in the early game, but it didn't last very long by the end of that one. As, yep, just another team effort. It's hard to give one person player of the game, but I think the early to mid game was very good for Beryl, so we'll give it to him.
Yep, I like that idea. That'd move Beryl actually up to 500 points as well.
Guy is insane.
Even with BDD, and means that he's had his best season yet, right? Like, he wasn't even starting for DAMWON when they were debuting. It was back when Hoyt was playing. In fact, Beryl started as an 80 carry on the bottom side,
yeah,
as his support. So amazing to see how far he's come. Very impressive stuff. I think Noguru is also amazing on the Camille. Wouldn't be surprised if he picked up player of the game for this one as well. Getting solo kills and just showing exactly why Camille is so strong in the split push. But this game wasn't about them being way better than their lane opponents, things like that. This is about DAMWON just having far better understanding on how to win the game than Hanwha did. Hanwha didn't really play to their comp all that well. They were able to win some skirmishes early, then looked a little bit lost. And DAMWON, although they were playing fast and loose and reckless and crazy at times, it didn't matter because their plan was there and their plan was solid and they followed it and they just knew that they were going to win.
Yep, a very expected result, to be honest. Coming into this one, I don't think many people expected Hanwha Life to just all of a sudden sprout up with all these answers that they've been missing for the first 5 losses in the series. And DAMWON are looking like one of the best teams right now. So the results seem obvious. That the early game for DAMWON did give me a little bit of the, the old DAMWON feels where it's like, yeah, you guys got to be a little bit careful. Thankfully, they were up against Hanwha Life. If they do that against T1 or someone else with a little bit of a better drafting sense and much better play, they could have gotten themselves in trouble. So pretty interesting to see that happen, but mostly was just a 2-0 stump. And that's about it for that one.
Exactly right. Their next matchup for DAMWON is up against the Afrika Freaks. Definitely going to be an upgrade. It's going to be one of those teams vying for the 5th place. It's feeling like Dynamics, KT, and Afrika sort of on that race. Hanwha, unfortunately, are certainly on the bottom of the standings alongside Solo One Prince and Sandbox. But, I mean, it did go pretty disastrously badly for Hanwha Life at the earliest stages. But after that Afrika matchup, they're up against DRX, and that matchup is going to be so soon. That is going to be next week, just before the end of round 2, which is going to be the following round. The last 3 days, we have of our first round robin. So they made us wait for what is probably going to be the most anticipated match of this particular season, if you're just paying attention to the standings, right? Finding out who's better out of DAMWON and DRX is just going to be huge.
Yeah. It's a very unfortunate mistake by Viper. I think if he doesn't get killed there, and they're able to roll it a little bit more in the bottom lane, they could have had a much stronger Ezreal in the mid game. Beryl is kind of just smurfing in a lot of these fights, and a lot of it was kind of just members one by one of Hanwha Life getting caught out. And why is Lahans going over the wall there and baiting his team into a fight? I mean, it's not what you want to do. He didn't have the most spectacular game either, as eventually DAMWON slowly pushed their lead. Hanwha Life were pushed into a corner where they had to get the Infernal or nothing, and they got aced.
They did. Also, the magical journey being used by Lahans to get him over that wall meant that it couldn't be used as an escape in order to try and get out of this fight, and that's why you see things like failed flashes over there. And Lahans, that's not the journey we wanted to go on. As the Hanwha Life player comes out from Showmaker, certainly a confidence player at the moment. You can understand at rank 4 and rank 1 in solo queue, he's certainly going to be having some good games on his side.
And this was definitely not the cleanest game. Even as a series, it wasn't very clean. And Nuggery kind of just smurfing here at the end. He was just so fed at this point that he was popping Bard like a balloon. He was doing the same to Ornn. You mentioned that true damage. Yeah. There it is, twice in a row. He's able to chip him down. As listen in.
See how much singing they're going to be doing this time.
야, 싸움 봐, 싸움. 오케이. 리진 턴.
아, 끌었어. 오른.
다 잡아. 다 잡아.
Get them all.
두두. 내쇼 이빨. 호송력
There you go.
Yep, goes with his hybrid impression. I like it a lot. And yes, it was a longer game, 30 minutes and 20 seconds, but still pretty short as far as the LCK average is concerned. DAMWON on track as far as the fastest team in the LCK is concerned. So, as you can see, stats, in the end, it was, in fact, the Aphelios that was able to get 100 damage ahead of the Camille, who spent the entire game, admittedly, just whacking onto an Ornn.
Yeah.
Which is generally what happens in a lot of Ornn matchups.
It was interesting to see draft domination twice in a row.
Yeah,
First game, they see the Aphelios, they immediately pick up Trundle Zoe alongside Ezreal, and they kind of just won from there. They only bolstered their picks later on.
Yep.
And then game 2, they saw a teamfight comp coming in, and then they picked 1-3-1 and executed it very cleanly, at least on DAMWON's side. So for the latter half of the game, just to get a little bit more specific. But definitely good stuff from DAMWON. They didn't let up against a weaker team, and that is good to see.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't learn too much about DAMWON here. We knew that they were certainly a cut above Hanwha Life going into this series. And it is going to be Beryl that picks up the player of the game, so he now is even with B2D at 500 points, leading the rest of the league. And I think last time we saw it, it was Tucson that was ever a support that was able to get that close to the top of the standings. But in a league with Carrier here as well, Beryl being this high up just shows that LCK supports have gotten much better, and that's really exciting to see.
The supports, you mentioned Carrier and Beryl. I think effort is also really fantastic. There are a lot of great supports here in the LCK, which is always good to see. And that was really the big highlight moment for Beryl, where he flashed in front of the Justice Punch. It's very flashy. It shows a lot of presence of mind in that moment to just recognize the play and put an end to it. And I love it. He plays a very aggressive Thresh, and he's really good at his mechanics.
And we get to talk about his Pantheon again, because he will be in the Player of the Game interview alongside Showmaker from game number 1. So same actual Player of the Games from our previous series as well. So just showing that Showmaker and Beryl are certainly stepping up here for DAMWON Gaming, but that's enough from us. Let's throw it over to Ji-sun for some interview translation.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's hear from Showmaker Beryl from DAMWON Gaming on a 3-match win streak. Today, I'm happy that we can go home early. Yeah, because many teams are having the going home live streams as well with the fans, so that's also important. But not 100% happy for the production though. But moving on to Beryl, how do you feel as well? It was not clean, but still, I'm happy that we got this win. Indeed, I mean, still a 2-0-2-0 win. But Hanwha Life, they had a really sharp punchback as well. But I mean, DAMWON Gaming, you guys are just keep getting that 2-0 wins. You guys are always going home early. Do you have this feeling that you will be able to go home really fast? Everyone has a very high desire to go home early, and we want to make the people and the crew at Low Park to go home early as well. Yeah, there are a lot of PD producers, the casters, the staffs, crews, referees. Last time, Cloud Templar came to me and said, like, good job, Showmaker, when we had a 2-0 win. So he seemed super happy. I just love DAMWON Gaming's performance. In game number 1, Lihens played support Shen. So what was your reaction to that pick? Was that a little bit surprising? When I first saw it, I was, quite surprised, but I think we played into it really well. And then you picked Pantheon into Shen. Even though Shen is a little bit of a counter pick into Pantheon, why was that? Well, there was not much picks available, so I wanted to go with the pick that I'm confident on. And there was this moment where you got a solo kill on Karma around the mid lane. Were you confident on your calculation? Before I landed my Slippy Trouble Bubble, I Q'd comboed on Karma and I kind of chunked him down a lot. So after I landed my Slippy Trouble Bubble, I was quite sure. Showmaker. Not only in LCK, you are also popping off on Korean solo queue, and a lot of people are saying that you are the best mid laners currently. What do you think? I'm not sure whether I'm the best mid laner. I'll just do my best. How do you like the Patriot Meat nickname? I kind of like that. Twisted Fate in game number 2. That was a blind pick. First pick.
그동안 안 한 이유라.
So this was your first Twisted Fate game. Why was that?
그동안 안 한 이유는 그냥
The reason for not Twisted Fate throughout the split is only because there were the situation where we can just win without Twisted Fate.
나쁘지 않은 픽이라 생각해서
We always think that TF is an okay champion.
그러면 베리 선수 요즘에 또 캐리아
And
선수와
Burrow.
베리 선수 간에 약간 은근슬쩍 그 라이벌 구도가
There is a
약간
bit of a
형성돼서
rivalry going on with you and Kariev.
화제가 됐었는데 베리 선수는 좀 어떻게 생각하세요?
Bro,
캐리아
what's your
선수와의
thought on
네.
this competition going on?
예전부터 늘 생각하지만 저는 언제나
I always
맨 뒤에
thought
서포터라고
that
생각하면서
I am the
그
bottom
게임을 하기
support.
때문에
That's the
항상
mindset I bring into the game.
1등이란 얘기죠.
예.
본인이.
그 얘기예요. 아, 그
반대 멘트, 반대 멘트.
I mean, I seriously mean the rock bottom.
1등인데 이거에 대해서도 소감
But you are on top of the POG standings,
오늘은
tied up with
스트레스로 받은 것
BDD.
같아요. 운이 많이 좋았던 것 같아요.
I think I was just lucky to pick up that POG on Thresh.
멸망하지 않을까 이 생각을 하고 있어요.
Because I always thought that it's gonna be the end of the world when I get a POG on Thresh because I really cannot pilot it really well.
많아요.
인생은 잘 풀리니까 뭐 이렇게 쉽게 얘기해도 경기가 결국 좋게 이어지는 것 같습니다. 자,
But
그럼
still,
이제
DAMWON
다음
Gaming,
경기
they are on a
앞에서
smooth
보겠습니다.
sailing ride in the
이어서
LCK.
김태건, 이것도 욕심이 날것
And your
같은데
next opponent will be Africa Freaks. Are you
먼저
still looking for that early going home match?
저희가 진판에는 2대1로 지고
Well, whenever we lost, it was 2-1, and whenever we won, it was 2-0. So I hope that we can get another 2-0 win and go home really early.
좀 좋아하겠습니다. 네.
I guess Cloud Temple will be also happy if you guys can make it happen.
아프리카가 기세가 되게 좋아서
Africa, they are having a good momentum, so we will do our best and secure a win in that series. This will be the end of the interview with Showmaker Barrel from DAMWON Gaming, and I'm gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, G-Sun. As per usual, Cloud Templar getting absolutely trolled in that interview. Showmaker definitely focusing on wanting to go home. Just so that he
There's
can
one
play
goal
more
in
solid.
mind. That is why they keep winning 2-0, I bet.
Yep.
Is that they just want to go home. That's it.
And if they start...
they
If
wanna
they
play
start
solo queue.
losing, yeah,
That's it.
that's the big problem. Then Showmaker's going to start dropping points, dropping LP, and he's not going to be able to hold on to that #1 spot. You got to make sure that you stay dedicated to getting as far ahead as possible. So needs to move towards 2,000 LP at #1 in Challenge here.
Not enough. He needs more LP. He needs more points.
I mean, it's pretty ludicrous, actually. Is we do see DAMWON lock down the second place here on the standings. DRX still haven't lost. That's why they are still in first. But if they do, they immediately move to second because DAMWON have so many more points with all those 2-0s they have picked up. Hanwha Life, unfortunately, 0-6 now. The only way that they can really hold their heads high is that it's likely Sandbox get 2-0'd by Team Dynamics after this.
And then they're not in last.
Exactly.
Great, awesome.
And another
stuff.
thing, no more relegation.
True.
So still safe.
They're safe for now.
Until the team doesn't get into franchising or
We'll
something
see.
like that. There's
We'll
a lot
see.
of competition
Yeah.
when it comes to being a team in the LCK for 2021, but we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
For sure. And yeah, I mean, DAMWON they're looking really good. I mean, this is just, it seems like just another stepping stone for them. I think they just kind of, like Mario, they bonked on the head of the monster and they jumped up to the next level. That's kind of what they did for Hanwha Life. Didn't really seem to take much out of them.
Yep.
And they didn't waste much time doing it. So I'm sure Showmaker's happy.
Well, they've got a mini-boss coming up next week. That's going to be a Freak of Freaks, and then we do have them facing off against DRX, but that's going to be next week. There is still a match to go tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as Team Dynamics try to show us what kind of caliber team they are and whether they get to run with the big dogs as they go up against Sandbox to try and reach a potential third place outright. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back after this break.